Firefighting is a skill, and if you don't continue to train firefighters, they will lose that skill. The training I want to speak of here has to do with the impending arrival of electric vehicles, EV. We have hybrids now on the streets, but there is plans afoot by some entities to import EV. So what we have done, we have partnered with the ATL Automotive Group, and they would have conducted training within the Fire Brigade over the last 2 weeks. Approximately 60 persons were trained in how to treat with electric vehicles, because this is a whole new ball game, a whole new set of techniques and skill set that will have to be applied in fighting a car fire that may involve an electric vehicle, and not only a fire, but to extricate persons who may be trapped in these vehicles. So we see this training as very critical and we are being proactive in doing it now and not waiting until the vehicles are here, because the risks associated with those vehicles in terms of conducting operations, in those vehicles, in terms of trying to extricate persons who may be trapped, is far greater than our regular petrol vehicles or even the hybrids that we have on the street now. So we are making sure that our members are prepared to treat with it, because the last thing we want is for our members to go out there and be taken by surprise, by these vehicles. So we are doing that. We're also having training of new persons to come into the system. We currently have a cohort of 85 young men and women in training at a facility in St. Mary. They are scheduled to graduate sometime in May, and they will add to our current establishment. What we have done with this particular cohort of trainees is to try and identify some drivers. Because drivers are driving is a skill, is an art, and we as a fire brigade value the importance of having skilled drivers to operate our emergency vehicles, or our vehicles under emergency conditions. It's not the same as driving a regular truck on the street. So what we have done is identify approximately 25 persons out of this cohort who are specifically heavy duty drivers to bolster our driving strength. In light of the fact that we would have recently procured 30 additional brand new pumpers, which have now been deployed at all our stations, and I'm happy to report this morning that every one of our stations now have a working fire unit, and not just a working fire unit, but a reliable working fire unit. And this is something that we are very pleased about, and it has improved our response capability a lot, and we have seen the benefits of having these 30 units, to include a reduction in our fuel bill, so to speak, in terms of the level of consumption. I mean, the price is going up because fuel price is going up, right? But in terms of the liter consumed on a monthly basis, the last 3 months data we are looking at, we have seen reduction in our consumption level. Because of the mere fact that these are new units, so they will use less petrol than the older ones that we have. So this is this is a plus for us. I spoke to you earlier about EMS and the fact that we would have made over 5,000 runs last year. EMS started in the Fire Brigade in 1996 and started as a pilot project, and so we have not really expanded the service a great deal since that time. And so the plan is to launch 2 sites in St. Ann this year, one in Ocho Rios and the other in St. Anne's Bay. I'm sure you're quite aware of the number of accidents that takes place, between, say, St. Mary, back into St. Ann, Richmond, going into Discovery Bay. And not only that, there are a number of developments that are taking place. There are a number of returning residents, and they come to expect of us, a particular level of service as it relates to hospital service. And so we want to make sure that we are being proactive in making sure that we have at least 2 additional sites in the northern belt of the island to treat with issues of medical emergencies, and of course persons who may be involved in motor vehicle accident. Another area that we are looking at for this year is to invest in more technology to achieve with our operational capabilities. So we are right now, taking steps to procure drones. We'll be launching a drone program sometime this year, and we see this piece of equipment as a critical piece of equipment that will enhance our firefighting capabilities and our firefighting capacity. And you may say, how so? A lot of the times when we have bushfires in the hills of St. Andrews and in some areas that are inaccessible to the fire units, we generally rely on JDF to assist us with doing flyovers so that we can have a bird's eye view, so to speak, of what is taking place on the ground. And it's a very expensive venture for the JDF. And so we believe with this piece of equipment we'll be able to do our own flyovers, reconnaissance, so to speak, without having to rely too heavily on the JDF in some instances. As well, sometimes we have large, protracted structural fires that are taking place, similar to what happened at I think it was facing recently, where it's difficult for us to get into the building and be able to locate the seat of the fire for whatever reason. With a drone, infrared camera and so on, it can detect the seat of the fire easily, and so we'll be able to better strategize as to how now we tackle that fire. And so we see this as a critical piece of equipment that will assist us in improving our firefighting capability.